right, here we go. Yummy. All right, what we got here is let's start at the start. My guest, Nick Kornafel.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Get right up on that guy.
All right, how's this?
So when I asked you what kind of beer you like, you said summer IPAs, which anyone who listens to this knows that I don't like IPAs. I'll drink them.
Yeah.
But you also gave me the option of a Kolsch.
Yes.
So.
And you got a Hefeweizen.
Did I get the wrong? Oh, I grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah, this is a
Shit.
Hefe, which is fine. Like,
God damn it.
I was trying to choose
It's so funny.
refreshing beers because
I grabbed the wrong
it's
beer.
very hot.
It's the seasonal branded timber. What are they called? Timbers.
Yeah, the Portland Timbers.
Shit. Well, Widmer has out a Kolsch right now. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I grabbed the wrong one. Son of a bitch. Okay, so we're not drinking anything you chose.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. I mean, it's still beer.
Yeah, it's good. So Widmer Hef, classic.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Would you like some lemon juice for this?
It's fine as is.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes
I'm
I
good too.
get it, but it's good as is.
Anyone not from Portland? Don't know if you know, but Widmer Hef is the standard around here for Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
You can get others. There's not much of a market for the others, though.
Yeah, not really.
I think they dominate the distributing in the area. So, but what does it say? The Timbers and Widmer Brothers Brewing share. I have shitty eyes. What does that say? Storied
histories as Rose City pioneers.
Oh, there you go.
Proud to have Hefe as the official craft beer of the Portland Timbers. Prost to Portland Originals.
Prost.
Prost.
It's good.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't believe I got the wrong beer.
It's fine. I mean, like I said, this is it's what I refer to as like a crowd pleaser beer. Like, you know, like I said, I requested an IPA, which you don't like. I understand that a lot.
The summer ones aren't bad though.
Yeah, I understand that a lot of people don't like the IPAs, and I completely get why. I've even had some that are a little bit too intense for me.
Yeah. It's bitter. I don't like bitter.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I wish I did, but I don't drink coffee. It hits that part of the tongue. I do like the
coffee.
I do like the complexity of flavors. I have a coworker who said he switched to IPAs. He's from the East Coast. Came over here. He said he switched to IPAs to slow him down in his drinking, you know, because he would get at it. So you drink the IPAs and you can't throw them back as fast.
Yeah.
Until you get a little bit of practice in them, and now it's all right. Well, it's just beer is beer.
Yeah. I didn't like them at first either until I can't remember what they call it, but for my birthday, my friend got me one of Elysian's IPAs, and it was a really good one.
Yeah, and that was your gateway. Oh, that's good.
And then I started stocking them in the house because roommates wouldn't touch them.
That's a good motivator. My roommate, aka my wife, does not drink beer, so anything I put in here is good.
Oh wow, that's even better.
Yeah, as long as it's not cider. If I bring in any cider, it's up for grabs.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I've actually been trying to drink less beer recently because I suffered an injury about 2 months ago.
Oh yeah, what'd you do?
I was LARPing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Like, I guess best way to describe it is it was kind of like in the movie 300 when Leonidas shield bashes a guy and he flies through the air in slow motion.
I believe that's how you see LARPing. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was the guy getting flung through the air.
Yeah.
Like me and another person, we slammed into each other. He hit me with his shield, and I just felt my shoulder pop out of the joint.
No good.
And it's been dislocated before, so it's prone to it. So yeah, but during that time, I couldn't exercise at all, and
Sure.
I.
You can't even jog when you got a shoulder joint.
Oh yeah,
like that.
definitely not.
Motherfucker.
Someone's cool. They're
To be
Harley
honest,
or whatever.
depending on what it is, it might be cool.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Harley fan, but there are some things that are loud cars that are actually cool.
I said that ironically.
Yeah.
I think if you have a loud vehicle, you're an asshole.
We'll see. I'm disagreeing with you. I think there are some times when it is cool. If you got a big rumbly V8, oh, there's no better sound.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not much of a.
I don't like Harleys though.
I'm not much of a car guy.
Yeah, love cars.
Definitely not a bike guy.
No, I want a bike, but I don't like Harleys. They're loud for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I like the style, the look, But so I mean, if I had all the monies, and I just wanted to buy a bike, I'd probably get that cruiser style, but a Honda.
Yeah.
They're just not as loud. I think Harleys it's like that episode of South Park. It's like they're just loud for no reason, just to disrupt people.
Yeah, definitely. I heard that they tried to trademark the sound that their bike makes or something.
I mean, that maybe. Did you know that every Ferrari, their exhaust is tuned to the key of F, not the key, the note of F?
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this. Yeah, I don't care about.
Well, Ferraris sound like Ferraris very specifically.
Yeah. Like I just drive an SUV now so that I can go camping.
Yeah.
Like it's like I had a Honda for a long time, and that was fine for me. Got me.
I have a shitty version out in my driveway right now.
Oh, awesome.
Of your car, I got a '94.
Awesome.
And it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the old car, the wife's old car.
Yeah. Gas mileage is not so good, but
no.
I was one of the few people I know that had a vehicle, so I was transporting my friends all the time.
Oh yeah, me too. I had that Lancer that I ran forever.
Right, and when going camping, they would have to pack all their shit into my tiny car, and now that I have this thing, I'm like, I don't know how I ever did it with the tiny car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we got a new Lancer for her, and it's got a huge trunk, so we end up packing a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, with my car, my new car, the Camaro, you can't. There's nothing doing. It's a good excuse to not, move anyone or.
Oh man, I should tell you about my very good friend Sharon. She has, I don't know what it's called. I guess it's a smart car. It's one of those
little itty tiny ones. Yeah.
It's like a little box on wheels, and she uses it as her transportation, but also her storage device.
Okay.
She has all of this stuff in it, and it's also decorated. You can't actually see the interior at all because she's got knickknacks glued everywhere, all over the steering wheel, all over the dashboard. There's just pictures.
Sounds illegal and dangerous.
Possibly, but she's very much into decorating. So
shit, it's her car. Go for it.
Yeah, it just wouldn't feel like hers if it didn't
Yeah.
have a billion sequins and My Little Ponies and dragons. She loves dragons.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you own a car.
Yeah.
So do what you want.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's definitely not my style.
Yeah.
I don't like bumper stickers either.
Yeah, I mean, it's for someone like me, it's a bit much, but for someone like her, it fits her personality very perfectly.
I used to date a gal who would cover her dashboard in shells.
I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good times. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not for me, but
yeah.
Who am I to tell someone else what to do with their car?
Yeah, exactly.
It's where you get into the steering wheel. I'm like, wait, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know, I've heard people say that you turn your airbag into a claymore that way. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually know how a airbag deploys. I've never
very
seen
fast.
It happen. I understand.
I saw it happen in person, very close, a few weeks ago.
Were you in an accident?
Yeah, at work, I was driving the brand new work van that only had 2,500 miles on it. We had for maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
And this really, really, really old guy, and I feel really bad for the old guy, but he ran through a stop sign and stoplight, same thing. and hit me.
Oh, fuck.
And yeah, totaled the van. It was a real big bummer.
Yeah.
Real big bummer for him because he was 80 miles away from home.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a little stranded trying to get a hold of his son using the cop's cell phone. And he's, like I said, really old. This might be his last license.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
feel bad. But also don't run a red light and hit me.
I mean, just when you get up there in age, your reaction time is not so good. And
yeah. And he didn't know the area.
Yeah.
Watch out for stop signs.
Yeah. I mean, I've run stop signs and even red lights before, like, just very lucky. Nothing happened, but like,
I did it right in front of a cop once on accident. And
geez.
It was in an area very familiar to me. I just thought I was one block over and I wasn't paying attention. And I was like, oh, no, the stop sign's on the next block.
Yeah.
No. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a 4-way stop, luckily, and no one was in the intersection. Didn't hit anyone.
Yeah.
I had one time. This was in high school. I don't know if was it after a dance. I don't know. I was over at this girl's house really, really, really late, and I was heading home. And I fell asleep for a second.
Oh, jeez.
And I woke up going through an intersection. It was real scary.
Yeah.
It's only ever happened once. Yeah, I guess that only ever needs to happen once, huh?
When driving my friends' places, just to fuck with them, a thing that I would do is, how on some streets and freeways and stuff, they have like the ridges on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Like, I deliberately drifted over into it.
Yeah.
And the moment I touched it, I like kind of jerked the wheel back and I just did this. Guys, I had the weirdest dream. And they're like, the fuck?
I went on this trip to Lincoln City with this gal. Mm-hmm. I think I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And because her parents was selling art in an art studio down there, and run some down, and she was showing me her version of keeping the driver awake. And she would just, out of the blue, just go, ah, and scream at the top of her lungs for like 0.5 seconds. I was like, yeah, that'll work.
That'll make me more likely to crash the car.
Maybe crash the car, but you'll do it wide awake.
Yeah. I'd rather crash in my sleep at that point, because then maybe I won't realize it until I see the light or
I don't know.
fire or whatever you believe in, and how good I've been.
I don't know. I don't believe in any of it.
No.
None of it.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know. It's a weird. I don't like getting old. I don't want to die. I want to live forever. Right. A lot of people say like, "Oh, why do you want to live forever?" No, I definitely want to live forever.
Haven't you read Lord of the Rings?
Read? No, it's too dry. I really don't like the writing. Good stories, but I don't like the writing.
Well, like the entire point of the immortal elven society is that they show that because they are ageless and bound to the world and their destiny, that it's an incredible burden for them to live forever.
Yeah, but that's a made-up world and they have a destiny.
Yeah.
Why? I don't.
Yeah, but like...
So if I live forever...
Yeah, like the men of that world, they envy the elves because they live forever, but the elves envy the men because they die. And the idea behind it is that because men have such short, finite lives, they have more control over their own personal destinies.
Those elves are stodgy and should just go live.
Yeah, well, they do. They eventually leave Middle-earth and go to the Undying Lands, which is their equivalent of elf heaven, I guess, and maybe it's their way of dealing with overpopulation since they never die.
Yeah, they never die, but do they ever have kids?
They have kids. Yeah, but they all look the same age, like that Justin Timberlake movie In Time.
That movie was so good.
It was a good movie.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, it was...
And by the way, I don't want to see Olivia Wilde as Justin Timberlake's mom. I want to see them hooking up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in their society it's normal, but I feel like it'd be very weird if you and your parents were the same age.
Yeah.
Or like they're not literally the same age, but they look it.
Yeah, it would be weird.
Yeah.
But I think at that time, so you need to make all your resources. Let's just get to Mars. You need, if you found out how to live forever, or at least, a really, 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 really long time. Let's say all of a sudden there's a breakthrough. Everyone can live to be 1,000, give or take.
Yeah.
1,000's the new 100. How about that?
Yeah.
But you can procreate at the age of, 15 plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to have a population problem. We definitely need to get to other planets.
Yeah.
I think we should do it anyway.
Definitely.
Not the moon.
Well, that's not even a planet.
I know, but we don't need to go to the moon.
Yeah, people are always like, oh, if the moon landing was real, then why don't we go there anymore? Because there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Except a few golf balls and a white flag.
Well, okay, and also we don't have a motivation. Our motivation to do it the first time was, fuck you, Russians.
Yeah.
But now everyone has rockets and everyone can do it if they really needed to.
Yeah.
China's been apparently talking about, for a while, putting a base on the moon. Now with this new Space Force, they're talking about putting a base on the moon. But that's the stupidest thing. Why on the moon? You know what happens to the moon? It gets hit constantly. There's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
You need to go to Mars.
Yeah.
Where you can get at least some deflection.
Well, I mean, you got to be ready for when the secret Nazi base that's on the dark side of the moon makes their move. Got to be ready with the Space Force.
That was a good movie. What was it called?
Iron Skies.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Who was in that? Was that Joan Cusack? Was she in it? She played the president. Earth president.
She played as President Sarah Palin. They never call her that, but she's totally President Sarah Palin.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no such thing as the dark side of the moon.
I mean, there's that
so
movie.
you know.
I mean, that movie was made a while ago, so they thought, what's the most nightmare scenario we can think of? President Sarah Palin. It was like, ha ha ha, very funny. Good thing it didn't come true, but what we got was so much worse.
I don't know. Then Sarah Palin? I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah, it's very different. I mean,
I don't know. Anyway, but so the point is let's go to Mars. Fuck the moon. I mean, we can go visit the moon, but we don't need to put a base there. What's the point of putting a base there? It's just going to get blowed up eventually.
Yeah. Like, it's just...
You gotta go deep.
Yeah. I mean, unless they figure out that it turns out there is cheese up there, but it's beneath the surface.
I saw Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
I saw Wallace and Gromit. There's cheese.
Yeah, he didn't seem to like
cheese.
He didn't really seem to like the cheese that it was made of.
No,
He was just kind of like
cheese.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah.
It's cheese, better than no cheese. What's really weird is Total Recall. They go to Mars, then they use these giant reactors to melt all the carbon dioxide to give an atmosphere on Mars. That would fucking work.
Does it work?
Yes. So the problem with Mars is it's so Earth has the and I'm gonna butcher this, so anyone listening, fuck you. I'm gonna do my understanding, and it's a very rudimentary.
It's like based on.
So we have iron core,
Yeah.
which as it spins makes a magnetic field, which really shields us away from solar winds and whatnot. And
Yeah.
Mars doesn't, so their atmosphere will blow away faster. I mean, it will still stay for a really long time.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what happened to Mars is the atmosphere eventually kind of blew away and, got real cold. Okay, so we melt all the carbon dioxide that goes in the air. There's an atmosphere again, which will create a greenhouse effect.
Yeah.
And warm it back up. That's what Total Recall did, and it would kind of work. I mean, there's no, as far as we know, giant alien reactors.
Yeah.
But, who knows? I've never been there. There might be there.
Are there 3-breasted women?
Probably. Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
By the way, if you have a group of people and then you choke them out pretty regularly, they won't grow 3 tits. That's how the mutants on Total Recall work. Is they're just choked out half the time.
Oh, and that's what created Quado and all that.
Quaddle?
Yeah, is that what he's called? Like the
Quaddle.
Yeah, Quaddle.
Which is really funny when they reference it in Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
When they're doing the stand-up comedian episode, Quaddle stays.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of body bag, but Quaddle stays.
Nice.
Fucking love that cartoon.
It was
But anyway,
amazing.
The point is, I want to live forever because I want to know what happens next. I don't want to die and then like not know.
Yeah.
I mean, even if there's reincarnation, I won't know.
Yeah.
Because I'll have no frame of reference. I'll know the new stuff, but without the frame of reference of the old stuff.
Yeah, but if you live forever, then you eventually have to live through the sun supernovaing and incinerating the planet.
Just because you
through that,
just because you live forever doesn't mean you can't die. You know what I mean?
So you can die of mortal injury.
Right, Highlander shit.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to die?
Who wants to live forever? Fucking Highlanders.
Yeah. Better to burn out than to fade away.
I mean, what about vampires, right? Yeah. Vampires can live forever, or they can die.
But vampires fear time above everything else.
No, they don't. They fear the sun above everything else.
Well, that's the more immediate threat, but they're the only...
all my vampires live in the world of darkness.
Yeah.
All right. Vampires don't fear time. It's nothing to them. The older they get, the less they fear it.
Yeah.
And then they turn into fucking old psychopaths.
Isn't a major theme of World of Darkness that they're preparing for the end times? Because
it happened.
Yeah.
It happened in the series, which is stupid. They should have never let it happen.
Oh, wow.
And then they changed everything. So there was, in the World of Darkness, there was Vampire the Masquerade, then there was Mage Ascension, and then there was Werewolf something or another.
Yeah.
And then the event happened. I don't even know what it was because I don't care. The fact that it happened was so stupid. And now, if you go to buy the books to play the game, it's Vampire this or that. And all the rules have changed.
Yeah.
It's not the World of Darkness I live in.
Yeah. They did the same thing to Warhammer.
Yeah.
Like they had this in the story of that game, the fantasy game, not 40K. I don't know what's going on with 40K, but
awesome video games. That's what's going on.
Yeah. But in the fantasy one, they did this end times arc where like they said that there were 4 gods of chaos who were always at odds with one another, and one day they decided
always always, no question.
Well,
that's not very chaotic.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, but at the end they decided that like they no longer wanted to play this game as they called it, and they set aside.
I know the rules are so muddled, and the games take so long. I wouldn't want to do it either.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's a meta representation of what they did to the game, because in the story arc they essentially said like the gods of chaos united and wiped out everything, but now the world has been born again from like new gods or something. They call it the Age of Sigmar. So
what they wanted to do is sell you a brand new batch of books.
Yes,
that's exactly what they did in Vampire 2.
Like the old batches of books, like all the old rules and the way the game functions, they burned it all to the ground and rebuilt it anew, and it is completely unrecognizable. And
that's not necessarily a bad thing. For example, going from D&D 2nd edition to 3rd edition was a really good move.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm playing, I'm still playing 3.5. I won't play 4th edition. I heard 5th is okay, but I don't know.
5th edition is pretty good.
Is it better than 3.5?
No.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
I guess it depends on what you want. 5th edition is a bit more simplified, but it's a little bit more streamlined in the way it does things, which is third edition to 2nd edition. That was the point, is they streamlined it. Yeah, but third edition still had lots of rules for little things like grappling on a hill or weird stuff like that. And I'll say 4th edition wasn't a bad game. It was just they just gamified it a bit too much. It felt too
turned
much
into a board game.
It felt too much like a board game. And
as soon as they said you had cards that you can use once per whatever, I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Haha, you activated my trap card.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ideas behind it, and it functions really well, and
but it should have been a different game.
Yeah, essentially it wasn't D&D.
A game of one shots.
Yeah. I mean, things that I liked about it was they introduced minions, which I think is a good idea, and I think should still be used in 5th edition.
Okay, minions.
That's essentially they call it, like, in D&D they call it the action economy, where like when you have like a big boss fight or something, oftentimes like if you have like one big bad for the entire party to gang up on, they usually get stomped just because like the party, like if the party outnumbers them, they have more actions amongst them to do more things to it, whereas like the big baddie might have one big swing or one big trick up his sleeve, but then he has to wait through like 4 or 5 players to all gang up on him, essentially.
I see what you're saying. So. Here's a you're about to DM your first campaign. The way to get around that is to DM better.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things you can do with your big bad boss fight that are non-traditional to make it interesting in 3.5. I remember one of my disclaimers when I was DMing is the rulebooks apply to you, but there might be special circumstances where a NPC might not act accordingly. You know?
Yeah.
And you can make them do it. I had a few different encounters that I kind of fashioned after, not exactly, but the style of a World of Warcraft boss fight. So what they did, it was still, everything was based on a D20, but they did things that were, you know, taking actions not based on their turn necessarily, but because something happened or, you know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's room for that. There's room for rule bending.
Yeah.
So you don't have that, you know, big swing, you're dead or I'm dead.
Yeah.
Also, you can always add HP to any boss.
Yeah. And fourth edition also introduced the idea of like having NPCs that, like, NPCs and boss monsters and things like that react differently to certain circumstances. Like, for example, they would have this set, like, these abilities and stuff when they're at max HP, and when they get below max HP,
that's a good idea.
They would have new abilities because that are meant to represent now they're getting more desperate.
Yeah.
You know, things like when fighting a giant, like at first you're just kind of like hacking at its heel. You're kind of hacking at its heels or something.
Yeah.
And when you get it below a certain HP, now you've brought it down to one of its knees, and you can do actual lethal damage to it now.
Sure.
But it also thrashes about more, so it's more dangerous.
Yeah.
Again, I think stuff like that is interesting. It makes...
I like it. Yeah,
it
sure.
makes it makes monsters feel like more than just big bags of hit points.
Yes, exactly. On the other hand, sometimes you're running against a giant caterpillar, and it is literally just a big bag of hit points.
Yeah.
There's also space for that, too.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and that's where, as a DM, you have to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Because it can't just be like, all right, here's this set of abilities against the party.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, it's going to get boring. You can do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's never going to be riveting, you know. And that's a fun game to play as a DM. It's like, all right, here's what I have. What can I do to this to tweak it to make it compelling? That's the word I'm looking for. Compelling.
Yes.
Because you know, I don't know. It's easy to be like, here's 4 orcs, get them.
Yeah.
Roll. You win.
Yeah.
Here's your loots.
I never like random encounter fights because it feels like just something that's in the way that doesn't mean anything.
Well, and that's okay though, because that happens. But if you're gonna play the random encounter game, have pre-random encounters set up for like an area that like you might run across these guys, and here's the scenario they're in.
Yeah.
Like I once had, and I like to toss this in all the time, but it's a couple of trolls on a bridge.
Yeah.
Right. They're making you pay the toll, but there are like 5 to 10 ways to get around it, and you get different XP based on how you get around it. So, you know, those kind of random encounters where they don't mean anything to the story at all.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that's not something that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I like when I like when random encounters aren't necessarily a fight. Like, I like when the DM says, like, like a classic scenario is you come across a wagon that has a broken wheel in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And that always means
it's an ambush.
There's an ambush. Well, just once, I'll probably do this as a DM. Like, I'll just be like, you come across a wagon with a broken wheel, and that's literally all it is.
Yeah.
And just watch the party.
Watch them overthink it.
Just be like, come out! Or, I heard of someone who did this. The party stopped at a farmer's house. A farmer stops at a farmer's house, and the kindly old lady in there offers them some corn muffins, and she's like, "I baked these myself." So one of them
cornbread's good.
One of them eats the corn muffin, and then the DM says, "It tastes really funny," and that literally didn't mean anything beyond it turns out she's a lousy cook, but
the secret recipe is there's actually peppers in it.
Yeah. And it
tastes funny.
Yeah, and he thought this woman was evil and was trying to poison him and stuff. Like, I think they actually ended up, like, I don't think they killed the old lady, but like I think they did like threaten or rough her up or something before they figured out that it turns out she just doesn't have very good baking skills.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always fun. Like, that classic old one with the gazebo, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. If anyone listening has never heard it or read it, just type in D&D gazebo and you'll see the funniest exchange I think I've ever read.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. I think the gazebos become iconic now.
Yeah. Now there's something we got into at one point where somebody was playing a paladin, and this became something where the players' morals got into. So they were trying to get information out of an evil guy, detect evil who's evil.
Yeah.
And they went to torture to get information out of him, and one of the party was like, "No, that's fucking evil. You can't be a paladin and do that." And where I personally disagreed, maybe this paladin believes that this is the best course of action for good, and that was a whole weird thing.
Yeah, well, 5th edition, I don't remember about the older editions, but 5th editions has a lot more flexibility in terms of alignment. Like,
no, that was it totally up to DM to but like, let's say you're a paladin and you believe that you can save the most amount of people by doing this. You are in fact doing good.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you actually are doing good.
Yeah.
But you believe that you're doing good, so it doesn't. It's your alignment is based on intention.
Yeah. It's like
it's not like dark side points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, the Crusades are crazy.
Yeah.
At one point they were fighting each other. It was just stupid.
The Crusades was a massive pile of failure.
Was it though?
Yeah. I mean,
what's your mark for failure or success? Because they definitely got a lot of gold out of there.
Yeah, like the first Crusade was the only one that's officially recognized as like successful because they successfully took Jerusalem, but like every subsequent crusade after that was just
a cash grab.
Yeah, just a war of attrition full of infighting and like it just a pointless war over land that mostly just had
they just went to the Middle East and tried to get all the oil. I mean, gold.
Yeah.
Completely different from what we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. The more things
we should just call these the Crusades.
Yeah. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
That's one of those phrases that I hate. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I get it. I get the intention behind it. I just hate the wording. It's like, war never changes. Oh, yeah? Well, there was war pre-guns, and there was war post-guns.
Yeah.
There was war pre-nuclear bomb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just technological.
War changes. But it changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed how you engage. It changed when you engage. Pre-nuclear bomb, motherfuckers are fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Now, there's still a lot of fighting, but it's never on the same scale, and it's different.
I mean, like, I think the one thing that changes is what people fight over. Like, it used to be just
It's always over resources, isn't it? Always.
not always.
Oh, resources or influence.
Yeah, resources or influence, but like it's either resources is probably the
most, yeah.
I'm putting up air quotes, most just reason to fight, I
Just,
guess, because that's survival. But
Is it sometimes it's survival, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's greed.
Yeah.
And then there's influence. Like, for example, when Rome was moving up into Gaul, which is Gaul's like the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
They got resources out of it, but it was for influence.
Yeah. But then there's wars of ideals, which is, it always used to be religion, and then transitioned into like government structures.
But I think a lot of those are masks.
Yeah.
That when they have a war of ideals, I think it's a fake reason, usually. For example, the Crusades, they wanted money.
It was easier to tell the peasants that if you die in battle, you'll go to heaven, than to explain to them what is to actually be gained by
explain to them what their extra tax money or grain or food is going to. We have to get these extra bags of grain from you every year now because we're going to show those heathens a lesson.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to go over there and we're going to fuck them up, and why? And then they just said...
Because they're other. Yeah, they always have to make an other.
No, because Deus Vult, that's why.
Because they follow a different god.
Yeah.
And our god is best. You know that, right?
It's funny because they follow the same god.
Yeah. Kinda. I mean, not really if you dissect it, because if you go back, so the Judeo-Christian God is not the same God. It was mashed together to make one religion, to make a bunch of different peoples one people. It's all garbage.
It's a different interpretation of the same.
But it's no. It was
Old Testament.
It was absorbed.
Quran.
But all those, they were still absorbed in. It's kind of like.
Yeah.
They took the pagan holidays and made them into Christian holidays. It's the same thing. Yeah. They took the Abraham God, the Noah God. Yeah. You put them all together and made them one. And they have different names for them. You have I'm such an idiot when it comes to this. I've heard it and I don't retain a lot, but like Jehovah, Allah.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Had a lot of vowels in it. But all those, and they're like, no, that's the same one.
Yeah.
But is it though? Oh, yeah, it's a different language. Don't you think God would supersede language?
Yeah.
But they put them together to create a piece, I guess.
Yeah, but
make a bunch of different peoples one people.
Yeah, but even subsects of the same religion have infighting amongst themselves because they believe they're believing in the exact same thing in a slightly wrong way.
This is the way you do it. No, this is the way you do it. Like the Shiites and the Shia.
Yeah. One of my favorite books, Shogun. You ever read it?
Shogun Hua is a good fighter. Shogun Hua, good fighter. I mean, it's a little past his prime now, but...
Oh. No, Shogun, the novel by James Clavell.
No.
It takes
Is
place...
it a sequel to Ronin? Prequel to Ronin?
No.
That was a movie?
Haven't seen it.
I want to say Robert De Niro's in it, but I might be wrong.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely not connected then. Shogun takes place in feudal Japan. The era is escaping me. I can't remember which century, but it was around the time when Western influence was coming into Japan. They had Christian ministry.
So Marco Polo kind of era. Kublai Khan is losing power. The Khans are just starting to lose power.
Yeah.
It sounds like. That was the thing with the Khans is they're like, yeah, we don't care about religion. You worship whoever you want.
Yeah.
Just as long as you're paying your fucking taxes to me.
Yeah, but
which is
the book
pretty
is
dope.
from the perspective of I want to say he's a Spaniard. I could be wrong about that. His name is Blackthorn, and him and his crew are shipwrecked and end up in Japan, and he ends up getting integrated into Japanese culture. He actually gets promoted
like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise, but not like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like it was actually not completely unheard of for foreigners to become samurai.
Oh yeah,
in
for
that
sure.
culture.
Yeah.
And like
if you're gonna
Blackthorn,
make it there, you're probably the kind of guy that can be one.
Yeah, and Blackthorn does in fact become a samurai to in service under Tokugawa, I believe. But there's a scene in it in which his lover, who is a recent convert to Christianity, asks Blackthorn why he hates the monasteries there so much, and he says because they're Catholic. And she's like, well, what does that mean? And he's like, well, I'm a Protestant. And she's like, what is that? And like he explains how like they're a different denomination of Christianity.
Yeah.
And she was like, but doesn't Jesus teach you to love your enemies? And he's like, well, yes, but they're teaching his beliefs the wrong way, and that's why we hate them. He's like, but shouldn't you forgive them?
Right.
Yeah, and like it's a really funny scene to me because like he's trying to rationalize why they're at odds.
And she's pointing out how silly it is.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to... I grew up a little before you, and I remember the IRA.
Yes.
I mean, that was a big thing in Ireland in the 80s.
Yeah, I was too young to realize what was going on. It's only like now that I'm aware of what was going on in hindsight.
Yeah. No, it was really crazy because it was like, this is white people in Europe, and there's fucking terrorist and war going on in Europe.
Yeah.
What? And I listened to some podcast or another talking about it, and it was really, really, really interesting. Crazy. And some of it was, some Braveheart shit where it's like, get the fuck out of here, England.
Yeah.
But some of it also, because like when they took over Ireland, they put all the Scottish nobles in the north, which is now Northern Ireland, which is still part of the UK. And they were Catholic.
Yeah.
I might be getting them backwards. And then the rest of Ireland was Protestant. I might be getting them backwards. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But then that was kind of the defining line is as the families grew, they were all Irish, even though one's roots were in Scottish folk. I'm fucking up everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. What it is interesting and crazy. And I really think that at some point our planet is going to be one global government, a la Futurama.
Yeah.
Right? I think that there's going to be a technological thing that's going to get rid of poverty. And that's when we're going to make the change. And it's going to be something like, I was thinking about this today, replicators on Star Trek. Something like that is going to happen. And that's going to be like, all right, now Earth is done. Let's go to the next one. And then it's going to be like Star Trek where we can go out. There's still going to be the haves and the have-nots. Yeah. But people aren't going to be hungry. Disease is going to be cut way down. And it's going to be, all right. And there's, so two things going to have to happen. One is that, where we end world suffering.
Yeah. Hopefully.
The other one is going to have to be all of the religions going through enlightenment and not just some. We can't be in a place where we're killing each other over religion. Yeah. So once those two things come to pass, I think it's going to be, all right, now we're just humans. Yeah. Let's go conquer the fucking galaxy.
Yeah. Well,
because there's always got to be an us and a them for war. And once we all become human and no one gives a shit, then we're going to have to go find another them. Yeah. And it's going to be aliens. Yeah. Like those creepy octopus on Europa.
Yeah. I just saw something about how, like, it was explaining, it was breaking down what the odds are of us ever meeting another alien race. Like civilized or otherwise. And
I think finding other life is going to be a lot easier than finding civilized other life.
Yeah, like any kind of life, really. But essentially, it was weighing a lot of factors, like the idea that we have a rough estimate of how old the universe is.
I think those are all wrong.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's why I said rough estimate.
Yeah.
But
that changes all the fucking time. It's like,
does.
oh, we get a new instrument. Oh, shit, it's older than we thought.
Yeah.
I think that's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But, like, whenever they're wrong, they're like, oh, it's actually older than
Yes.
we thought. They never say, oh, it's younger
Never.
than we thought.
No.
And we have a better idea of how long life has been on this planet.
Yeah.
And it's not even a blink in the life of an immortal elf. But
which also pisses me off. Put a pin in that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Also pisses me off where in fantasy settings, so-and-so is 10,000 years old. Look at Earth 10,000 years from now. They're fucking dirt farmers.
Yeah.
And now we have computers. What the fuck are these motherfuckers in these books been doing in 10,000 years? Nothing.
They don't need
They're
technology.
garbage.
They got magic.
They're garbage. They're garbage people.
They got magic, and they got Gandalf to solve their
Yeah,
problems.
but they still haven't explored the entire globe. Anyway, go ahead.
But anyway, and there's many who theorize that maybe Mars had life on it
I believe
at
it.
some point, and it faded away.
I think we actually probably came from at least partial cell, maybe even a full cell, maybe even a plant or whatever it was, that as the atmosphere went from Mars, meteorite hit Mars, and then panspermia landed on Earth, bam.
Yeah, and essentially, like, assuming, like, well, as we both established before, like, if you don't believe that a creator just put us here,
right?
Then life is a cosmic coincidence. Like, it just, like, the odds of it happening is so astronomically tiny that, like, in order for us to find life, then the same cosmic coincidence would have had to have happened close enough to us that we could go out and find it.
Right.
So the idea is that we're probably not alone in the universe, but the odds of life existing on two different planets simultaneously is so astronomically tiny that it's very likely that we will never ever find it.
So two things. One, I don't think poof, a creator put us here. But I'm not past the belief that there is a higher power that hit that fucking pull rack and set everything in motion. You know what I mean? If someone wants to believe that there's a higher power, I think there's room for it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I believe it, but there's definitely room for it. Like, science says this. Yeah, but why can't that be because the rules were set in place by the all-powerful programmer?
I think anything humanity's come up with is automatically wrong.
Yeah.
It's like really the thing you imagined just happened to be right.
And as far as, however many planets there are in the blink of the eye, I think we don't realize how many planets there are. I think there's more than we even understand. Like 10 years ago, there's like, well, there's approximately this many suns, stars in the sky. Oh shit, we're wrong. There's at least 1 million times more than that. And as we get better equipment, we'll see. And the thing is going to be if we can figure out interstellar travel.
Yeah.
That's going to be the thing. But I think it is more possible than anyone thinks about. And here's another thing. I think it's possible that there is non-carbon based life forms too. Mm-hmm. But the question is, are we going to see them? Are we going to notice them when we see them? Just because we've never seen it. We can't really wrap our brains around it, right? But let's say this. Let's say you were a silicon-based life form and you were basically a computer chip.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a human?
No.
You couldn't. It would be beyond your realm of comprehension.
Yeah, that's another thing that is taken into account is that it's possible that when we find life, it'll be so unrecognizable as life to us that we won't perceive it as such.
True. Yeah, I think that's a definite possibility too. I think we'll find it. I think we'll find it in the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like, oh, this place has tower guards too.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking water bears.
Yeah.
All they need is a puddle. They're good.
Yeah.
I also hate when I'm reading an article, reading a headline of an article. Come on, who reads articles? No, but they're like
Facebook.
They're like evidence of, what do they say? They say evidence of life on Mars or something like that. And I was like, oh no, you found carbon.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Well, god damn it, if you found a dead cell, then you can say life. Until then, don't say, just because you found like, oh, these things make up life. Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah. So I'm going to toss some flour and an egg at you like, hey, look, here's a cake.
Yeah.
It's not how it works. I found evidence of a cake.
Yeah. It's like, it could be used to make a cake.
Right.
That makes you god of cakes.
God of cakes. That's not a bad god.
Oh, I totally play that video game. It's like god of cakes.
God of cakes. I should
bring me the eggs.
I bought a PS4 and I haven't gotten God of War.
It's so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like.
Well,
this is gonna sound stupid, but I like. I'm not a console gamer. Mm-hmm. So I don't like games that are really hard on consoles. If that makes any sense. Like, I want to relax and play through a game. I like Fallout 4. Right?
Yeah.
I'm here for the story. I'm here for the adventure. But like, there's, especially it seems like with like PlayStation consoles, I guess.
Well, play God of War on easy mode.
But is it still going to be a half-hour boss fight when I reach a boss? I'm not into it. I don't need that. I don't need that.
I liked it because it has a really good story.
Yeah.
It's mechanically it's not as fun as the old God of War games where you were just a hate-ridden asshole who wanted to murder all the gods because they were mean to you. This one is about that man's redemption, and it's really well done.
Yeah.
I appreciated that despite the fact that it's just called God of War.
Mm-hmm.
It is called God of War 4, but I appreciated that it didn't try to do a soft reboot. It wasn't just resetting everything. It acknowledges the old games and
just continuing the story.
It continues the story.
It's like
shows that Kratos is regretful of his past actions because he destroyed the entire Greek world.
Yeah, and that's where the Romans came about.
Yeah. Doesn't explain how he got to how he became a Viking and all that. It doesn't explain any of that. He's just kind of there now.
I got that. What is it? It's the chick where she's fighting robot animals. Something Dawn.
Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, very pretty game. Plays really well, and I started playing it, and it's like
that title bugs me.
Here's the thing. I play video games while watching TV.
Oh.
Always. I cannot sit down and just play a video game.
Yeah, if you need a second outlet of entertainment while playing video games for entertainment,
no, but always
they're not very entertaining.
No, that's always. I can't sit down and watch TV either.
Oh, okay.
I can't sit down. I used to date this gal, and we lived with her mother. Mm-hmm. This was a long time ago. And I would just kind of sit in my room all the time, and she'd be like, hey, we need to go out and, hang out with the mom and watch a movie. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
So we went and watched a movie, and I grabbed a book. So I would read the book while watching the movie. Mm-hmm. I've always been that way. I can't sit and do one thing.
Okay.
I always got to be doing a couple things. However, that means I can't sit down and play a video game to the highest level either. Mm. You know what I mean?
So no Dark Souls for you.
Fuck no. No, I get bored of those so fast.
I tried Dark Souls. Oh my god. Just too much.
Now if it's something like I want to say, I used to play this game that was similar to an Overwatch kind of game where, okay, I can sit down and just focus on this for 2-3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. And then I'll go do something else for a little bit and then I'll come back for another game. I don't have the patience to sit and fucking play one game for 2-3 hours and just focus on that game.
Yeah.
Ugh, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm playing a bunch of 2K18 basketball, NBA. Mm-hmm. And rushing fishing 4.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, I'm not as big on video games as I used to be. I don't actually own any consoles. I played the new God of War at a friend's house because he was like, oh, it's so good, you got to come over and play it. And I was like, okay, and I just hung out with him a bunch of times until I got through it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, with that Horizon Zero Dawn, the gameplay is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, it's a real pretty game. The atmosphere is good. The story is interesting.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'll die. I die all the time in the game because I'm watching TV.
Mm-hmm. That'll do it.
Yeah, I like sports games. That's why I bought a console. Sports games.
Sports games.
I think sports games are usually better on consoles. Even when I, like I said, 2K18, I got it on my computer on Steam. Mm-hmm. I got an Xbox controller plugged in.
Yeah. You
know, it's the only way. I got Mutant League Football on the PS4. That's a lot of fun. That was not a reboot, but a remaster, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, I don't even like sports in real life, so I never got into the sports games unless you count Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl's turn-based, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's a board game. I mean, but
yeah.
When they made it
so it does not count.
Yeah, when they made it into a video game, I kind of thought like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it functioned kind of like Madden, except it was ultra-violent?
That's Mutant League Football.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You can kill characters.
Oh, okay.
And you can hit them after the fact, and their health will go down.
Oh, I could totally get into that then.
You could also do trick plays where you have a chainsaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, it's a fun one.
Yeah.
God, I buy all these games on Steam, and then I end up just playing the free ones. Like Path of Exile or Russian Fishing 4. Fishing game.
Fishing game?
It's so fucking fun. Russian Fishing 4. There's no reason why this free fishing game should have so many hours into it.
Yeah, Steam has a bit of a problem with like being flooded with indie games, most of which are just asset flips.
I tend to ignore them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like the same game, same engine with like, instead of pigs, it's cows or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like people will just churn these out and
sell them for 99 cents and people be like, oh, it's 99 cents. Why don't I buy it?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not, if you're into it, it's not a bad business model to just churn these out and make your money.
There was a case, like, this is kind of old news now, but a guy I like to listen to, Jim Sterling, he reviewed a game called The Slaughtering Grounds and talked about how it was like the worst piece of shit he ever played in his life because it was just everything was an asset and it didn't function right and it had stolen clip art from like Google Images and long story short, the developer of said game tried to sue him for $10 million
for slander.
Yeah, for slander amongst
defamation of character.
Yeah, it was
libel, basically libel.
Yeah, it was an ugly civil suit that went on for way longer than it should have before the guy finally realized that. I guess he realized that he wasn't going to succeed.
Yeah.
And they both just dropped the case. But yeah, that was one of the more bizarre things to come out of that.
Yeah. I don't know. If I was into game developing, I would probably do that. Like make some nice little easy little game. Mm-hmm. Make version 2, 3, 4, 5 of it, sell it all for 99 cents. If I was having fun making it.
Yeah.
And if I made $50 here, there.
Yeah.
Per game. Mm-hmm. Then I'm making money off of a hobby.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people are. The problem is you got to make something exceptional to get any sort of traction and recognition.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing if you're just like experimenting with learning how to code video games and stuff, and then you just whatever you make.
If you're having
just
fun
throw
doing
out.
it, yeah.
You just throw it out there as you're like, 99 cents. Maybe people will like it, but like it's like a lot of these companies, they're clearly just mass producing them as quickly as possible and throwing them out
those
there.
fucking little anime porn ones are horrible. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Those are clearly just a money grab.
Yeah. Not that I've ever played one.
I definitely haven't.
Yeah. Anyway, sports games.
There's a huge market out there for them.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, obviously.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Leisure Shoot Larry was the original.
No, the original I think was Custer's Revenge.
Never heard of it.
Oh God, it was for the Atari, and like there was a line of adult games that came out a while for the Atari, and Custer's Revenge was probably the most in poor taste one, because it was like the object of the game is that you played as a naked Custer with a raging heart-on.
Oh jeez.
And there was a Native American woman tied up across the field, and you had to dodge arrows to get to her. I think you can put the rest together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That
is a
horrible.
poor taste.
It's considered one of gaming's biggest embarrassments. Like,
Is it?
Someone put it together. Someone coded this and thought to themselves, "Oh yeah, this is a good idea. This is great.
Did it make money?
People are gonna love this." I don't know. Like I have a friend who owns an Atari, and he actually did have that game. It's mostly considered like just something you have as a collector's item.
Yeah. I wonder how much it goes for.
Probably not a lot. You
don't think so?
Also, I don't know. Maybe like some games like E.T. or
The worst game of all time.
Yeah, or Shaq Fu. Like
Shaq Fu wasn't that bad. It was definitely a Mortal Kombat clone.
Yeah, it just didn't function.
It had a lot of the same moves.
That game is worth $500.
Shut
now.
the fuck up.
It is.
Ugh. On what system?
I guess it was for Sega, wasn't it?
It was on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Yeah, like if you can find a physical copy of it, it's worth like $500.
There's no way.
There's
got to be tons of those out there.
Not many were made in the first place. Also, there was like a small company out there that was dedicated to eradicating that game. Like they said, like they literally said, like, if you have this game, we will buy it from you because we want to smash it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that game once or twice. It was a not as good Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Like just terrible hit detection, and it was virtually unbeatable.
I don't think I ever played it on single player.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fucking love fighting games too.
I used to play them.
What's your favorite?
Soul Calibur.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I might put that third.
What's your first?
Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive is the best fighting game ever made.
Okay.
I think there's a new one coming out soon.
Yeah.
Pretty excited for that.
They need to.
And then after that,
to cross over Dead or Alive with Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. Just like you can play volleyball.
Such the saddest game I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Talk about cash
imagine
grab.
like just like playing volleyball, but at any moment you could just run over and start murdering the other team.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
But I remember on regular Nintendo, they had some dope volleyball games. They were in that like River City Ransom style, right? Mm-hmm. They had dodgeball games and Super Spike V-Ball.
That's awesome.
And they were better than that Dead or Alive volleyball game.
Yeah, that game wasn't supposed to be good.
No, I tried it, and I was very upset because I remember the old ones. Like, I don't care about jiggly bits.
Yeah,
if it's a good volleyball game, when's the last time there's been a good volleyball game?
The entire budget went into the boob physics.
Yes, it's true.
They overdid it because like the boobs are essentially sentient beings that move of their own volition.
It's just a bad game.
It just scares me.
But Dead or Alive, I think I got 4 downstairs. I think 5's out. 6 is coming soon. And then, dope movie, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Kevin Nash is in it.
Yeah.
Jamie Presley.
That movie was perfect.
Loved it.
It was like
Julie Roberts' brother. Eric Roberts was in it.
Yeah, it's like, it's about fighting, so here's some fighting.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
No, it was great. Second one was Mortal Kombat 2, specifically Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
Fucking love Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
And then Soul Calibur is probably right there. Who's your character in Soul Calibur?
This might not make sense to anyone who didn't own the PS2 version, but Heihachi,
Which is a
Tekken character. He was a special guest, and I liked using him because like his shtick in that is that everyone has weapons and he doesn't.
Well, it's the same thing with the Xbox version.
Yeah.
It was Master Chief.
Wait, Master Chief?
Yep. It was in Soul Calibur.
Which one?
I don't know. But he was big, and he didn't have a weapon too.
What, not even like the Covenant sword?
No, he's big. He was like 8 feet tall.
What?
I don't remember. I had it on Dreamcast, and I don't know if there was a special character for that.
Yeah, because like the PS2 generation.
I think I'm right. Let me look that up about that Master Chief. That might be a different game, but I think so.
Yeah, because like in the PS2 era, like that whole console generation, they all had Soul Calibur, but they all had different special characters. For the GameCube, they had Link, and Xbox, confusingly but also kind of cool, theirs was Spawn.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Master Chief was on Soul Calibur.
Which one?
Oh boy. I'd have to go through the wiki here, but it might have been Soul Edge or
like that series has now become kind of known for having special guest characters, some of which are just bizarre. Like I think it was 4 that had Star Wars characters, and some people were like, awesome, and others were like, why? Why are these characters
I agree with
here?
why.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was already confusing enough that, like, everyone's swords hit, like, wiffle bats, and now you have lightsabers that can't cut through swords or anything.
PS3 had had Kratos in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Kratos was also a special guest in, like, Mortal Kombat 9.
Really?
Yeah. Which, that's way more fitting because he could be violent as shit there. I can't imagine Kratos being in Soul Calibur where his blades of Olympus hit like wet noodles. And he can't, like, rip anyone's head off or something.
So who's your character that was a native to the series?
This is gonna make me sound cheesy as fuck, but Keelik.
Which one was Keelik?
He had the bow staff.
Okay.
And he was the mash A to win guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was super quick. You could just mash your opponent to death. And I think that's why I don't really like fighting games anymore, because most of them have the problem of you can be an expert. You can be an expert at the game, spend 15 years learning every little subtle nuance and learn all the combos, and you'll still lose to somebody who just randomly mashes the shin kick button.
Oh, no way. That's why I like Dead or Alive, is you can get pretty decent at that game by not button mashing, but like intuitively button mashing. Meaning like, I know I'm a kick and a punch, and I'm going to do them in any order. And there's usually a combo for that.
Yeah.
However, to get great at it, you got to master the reverse.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, I see the combo coming. I'm going to reverse it here.
Yeah. Best fighting game I ever played was the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games. Because you literally cannot win by button mashing. Like, you can try to button mash, but, like, it does such a tiny amount of damage that it doesn't even matter, because when you're button mashing and fighting like that, it charges your ki powers, and it's all about, like, trying to knock your opponent away so that you can use your ki blasts.
See, my problem with that is when the learning curve is so steep that, like, let's say you've played it for, a month, and then I just start playing with you, I'm not going to want to play at all.
Yeah.
There's no, whereas when you can get away with some button mashing, but then you're eventually probably going to pay for it. But if you can get away with some,
yeah,
then at least you can compete and learn.
I don't know. I think every game suffers a little bit from that. Like, you know, there's the veteran player against the noob player.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you just like you. Whenever I went to a friend's house to play something like Smash Brothers or Guitar Hero or something, there was always that guy who was infinitely better than everyone else because he plays it on his own.
And I'm not talking about the guy who's played it for 4 months to a year versus the guy who just picked up. I'm talking about the guy who's played it for 2-3 weeks versus the guy that just picked it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not the guy who sits down and studies it, but like the guy who plays it casually. But I've never learned any of your, you know, Dragon Ball Z combos.
Yeah.
Can I get in there and at least play?
You can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've played.
I've never played any Dragon Ball Z fighting game.
Yeah,
they all look cool.
They're really cool, and a lot of them capture the spirit of the show very well. Like, the other thing I like about the Tenkaichi ones, at least, is that they're not side scrollers. They're over-the-shoulder, third-person perspective, so that you can fly around a big environment and
maybe I have played that
through mountains and stuff like that.
I think I did play one of those games like that, and I just got my ass kicked. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, you gotta, like, I mean, you have to at least play the tutorial, but once you do that...
I was at a party, so there was no really opportunity for that.
Yeah. I mean, that can be a problem, but, you know, as they say, get good.
Yeah, if I'm going to play it once ever at a party, maybe I just don't ever play it.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine, too.
No, it's not fun when there's other people playing it and I can't.
Yeah. You know.
I don't know. I think that's why I like DOA, because I think there's that curve.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if I've been playing it a bunch lately, I'll fuck up anyone who picks it up. But if I haven't been playing it, like if I hadn't played in months and someone hops in and they just want to kind of learn, they're going to get some games off me, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
You know, the mastery of it is, you know, your novice can take some games off your average player.
Yeah.
Which I think is important. I think Tekken's the worst one. And when I say that, I'm talking about Tekken from the 90s. I haven't played it much since. But I had a buddy who had a PlayStation, and he had, I think, it might have been the first Tekken. Might have been 2, but it might have been the first one.
God, I remember those.
Yeah, and I was used to playing Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, or like Virtua Fighter was pretty big at the time. And I was trying to play Tekken, and I would hit him with one thing and he would fall down. He's like, well, you got to do a combo. I'm like, I don't know motherfucking combos on this game I've never played before. And he would get up and I would hit him with one kick and he would fall down. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, if I don't know the combos I can't play, fuck Tekken.
Yeah.
I'm done with Tekken from that point on.
Yeah, that game had kind of a weird culture around it. Like, if you were really good at it, you were called like the king of Tekken or something.
Yeah, if you're a supreme autist, you can definitely rule at that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they did have some cool fucking characters.
Yeah.
How come every fucking game has a Bruce Lee in it?
Because Bruce Lee is fucking awesome.
He's alright.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a weird discussion one time with, if Bruce Lee was alive today, does he have a chance against any MMA fighter in his weight class?
I guess we'll never know.
I say it's a hard no for me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the training is just so far advanced these days.
Yeah.
Now, if he had grown up today, he'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But he never had that training. The training, my point was in this discussion is the training has come so far along that it's not close.
Yeah.
It's not close at all. But he was like the first one in mainstream to forsake, this is my only discipline, my discipline is best. And he's like, what can I learn from everyone? He was the first mixed martial artist for sure.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Like he did an armbar in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
He did a fucking armbar in that movie in the 60s.
Yeah. That was, I had something and now it's escaped me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Was it about the black dude in Enter the Dragon?
No.
He was fucking dope.
He was cool as fuck. Like,
that movie's so good.
Yeah.
Kids today don't know.
Kids these days.
Yeah.
With their iPods and their My Facebooks.
It's weird. Now that MMA exists, it's kind of weird watching action movies. Like, I can go watch the old ones because, like, I've seen it before and there's that suspension of disbelief. But then if I watch an action movie today and it's shitty action, it's like, oh, that's gross.
I've noticed a trend in action movies now where they choose to portray fights a bit more realistically.
I heard John Wick is really good at that.
It is. Actually, like, my favorite example is Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron. Yeah, that's how you say her name.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. There's...
I like her, though.
Yeah. Oh, she's one of my favorite.
Wasn't she Ultraviolet?
Now. I think that might have been
Mila Jovovich?
Yeah.
Okay, then so she did the other movie at the same time, which was Flux.
Yeah. But yeah, that's right. But what I like about the fight scenes in Atomic Blonde is that, like, you see, like older action movies, like the action star, like, you know, Jackie Chan or whatever, is in control and is just confidently wading through endless amounts of bad guys without so much as breaking a sweat. Whereas in Atomic Blonde,
I wouldn't say Jackie Chan, because I think part of his shtick was, oh, I'm in trouble. Let me grab this ladder.
Well, yeah, but it was. But
I know what you mean.
It was done for comedy.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, I'll always appreciate if you're doing Jackie Chan style where it's for funny.
Yeah.
I'll always appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is fantastic. But what I loved so much about Atomic Blonde is that, like, you see her visibly get tired. She gets hurt. Like, one of the most tense parts of the fight that she's in, because she's, like, fighting a bunch of dudes that are all trying to kill her, and she's fending them off, but, like, you can see the desperation in her. There's a part where, like, her and her current opponent are essentially having a race to catch their breath. Like, she's on one knee, he's leaning against a wall, and they're just looking at each other like, like they're trying to get their breath back so that one of them can make a move. And, like, now that I've been taking boxing lessons, I have an appreciation for just how quickly
your arms get tired.
Oh God, like
just throwing punches.
Like my trainer was just like, okay, I've shown you the 4 basic punches. I want you to just practice them for 5 minutes on this bag. I'm like, yeah, no biggie.
Hit the heavy bag for 5 minutes. Are you kidding me?
30 seconds.
Can I just go run 3 miles instead?
Yeah, like within 30 seconds, I'm so winded and tired.
Yeah.
And like he's like, if you need a break, just kind of back off, but keep your feet moving and stuff. And then like I move in and hit it again, and my side is cramping, and I'm just like, how the fuck do professional boxers go for 12 rounds? They must be demigods.
Well, look at their strike rate too. It's much lower. Also, people kind of make fun of people who shadow box, but the reason you're shadow boxing is that you're just doing arm cardio.
Yeah.
Shadow boxing isn't for like, well, I'm sure it's for form, but like, and you can visualize, but you're also you're going for a jog.
Yeah.
You're shadow box. You're going for a jog. You get tired so fast.
Yeah. And like, and again, like back to my live action role playing hobby, like where like the kind I do, it's fast paced boffer fighting, and I've been in pretty, like, especially at the big events where there's like 100 people on each side.
You ever drop kick someone?
No.
You need to try it next time.
There's no you can't punch or kick each other,
even if it's into a shield.
Well, in Belagarth, which is one of the ones that I do, you can kick somebody's shield. That was the one where I got injured.
Drop kick.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I could do that, but like you do gain an appreciation for just how exhausting prolonged combat can be.
You ever seen the one in M1? M1 is Russian fighting league. They do a lot of MMA, but they've also done full swords and shields and full armor fights in a ring.
Yes.
Can you imagine how tired those motherfuckers are in full armor?
Yeah. I mean, I've worn full armor.
Yeah.
And
now imagine going
heavy.
3 5-minute rounds.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But
those motherfuckers will punch each other in the head too.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That's crazy shit. That's a bit too extreme for me.
Well, you know, our friend Ross right now, who I'm trying to get on the show soon, is doing that this weekend. He's having his tournament this weekend of live action. I don't know what it's called, but it is legit swords, shields, weapons, live action fighting where you are...
Where is he doing it?
I don't know the details. I'll get it when he comes on.
Because, like, in Europe, they have the Battle of Nations.
Well, what they have... Yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty... It's the same kind of stuff, but you might want to actually hook up with him. Because he runs his own dojo where he takes on a couple of students. And I've had him on a different podcast before, and it was something the West Coast Sword Fight League. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I'll have him on here, and he'll talk about it. But
okay,
if you want to get into live action, like real,
actual
yes,
HEMA type stuff,
yeah, they have. It's all over the West Coast. There's a bunch of different ones, and they get together once a year for an actual tournament.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah,
it's too much for me. I've got too many bum joints.
Oh yeah,
I'm too old.
It's taxing.
Even though Ross is older than me, he's in much better shape.
Yeah, it's like there's some pretty hardcore old guys that do that too.
Yeah.
The closest thing I've ever even considered actually doing to that was the SCA, which
sure.
Yeah, it's the same thing except instead of actual swords, they use rattan sticks.
Yeah. No, they use actual blunted swords, and there's nothing. They don't have anything for historical value. So you'll make your own armor.
Yeah.
And it's not, well, this is how they did it in 1430. No.
Yeah.
No. This is just, here's real armor. Here's a sword. There you go.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, because I think there's the SCA, which has historical value to it. And there's a place for that, but there's also a place for, all right, let's do this, but modern.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's room for all of it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What is your organization that you do your buffering with?
Amped Guard.
Amp Guard. How do you find them?
You can go online and find them. It's spelled AMTGARD.
Amped Guard. Okay.
Yeah, Amped Guard.
What
I
does
don't
that
actually
mean?
know what it means.
No, we don't know.
It's only just now occurring to me that I've never questioned the name. But here in the Pacific Northwest, we are considered the Kingdom of Black Spire. Oh wait, I just realized we're in Washington.
Yeah.
Washington is Northern Lights.
I don't know. What if we're Washington, but we're Portland?
Yeah. I mean, maybe where we're located.
Can we get an
so
exemption?
close.
Can we get a boundary exception?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of crossover between the two kingdoms. Like, it's not. It's very.
Can I go and join to party, but not actually swing swords?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You can just if you find a park, you're more than welcome to just observe because it's done at public parks and.
Okay.
In my
Can I be a wealthy merchant?
Sure.
Can I LARP that?
Sure, you can.
Sweet.
In fact, the park that I do it at, we actually have a mini economy with fake gold and stuff that you can.
Do you want to tell people what park it's at?
Clackamas Park.
Clackamas?
Yes. Clackamas.
It's like Willamette and Clackamas?
Yes.
That's stupid. I fucking hate that park now.
I didn't come up with it.
I fucking hate that park now.
Well,
whoever named that park, fuck you.
We call it the Land of Dragon's Forge. Sounds a little bit better, doesn't it?
So what if someone shows up with some fucking pet iguanas? People are gonna freak out?
No.
Or they just see oh, there's the fucking Queen of Dragons, Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we used to have a guy who would bring his ferrets out all the time. I called them
Beastmaster.
I called them cat snakes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Fuzzy cat snakes.
Funny smelling cat snakes.
Dude, I used to live with a couple of them, and they were descented. They still smelled.
Yeah.
God, not bad enough though. Not bad enough to not want around because they were so cute.
I mean, they're cute, but like I really can't stand their scent.
I'll deal with it. If you live with
descented.
it, if they're descented and you live with it, you get over it real quick.
Yeah,
they're so cute. It's like you live with a cat. You walk past the room with a cat box. Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'll live with it because that cat's cute.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're so fucking silly because they used to run, and then floof, just lay on the ground, just like plop. Because and they're like, I want to play. What do you want to do? Just plop. Yeah. All right, what now?
Yeah. You know who I recently got into Amped Guard? My personal trainer, Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah. He's a power lifter.
Yeah.
Known on Instagram as Villain Strong.
Villain Strong.
Yeah.
All right.
And So is
he swinging the sword at you?
Yeah.
Is he gonna break buffers though?
He could. He wields like a giant dragon slayer type boffer, like Guts from Berserk.
I don't know that one.
Oh, you don't know that one?
No.
Like, it's iconic because, like, it's iconic for being super violent, and the main character wields a sword that is so big that most people in the anime, when they see him, they laugh at him, because they're like, that's too big for any man to swing, and then he fucking cuts you in half with it.
Yeah.
And, like...
If I was that big, all right, here's what I would do. I would get an ass kicker.
Yeah.
But, like, set it up. So, have you ever seen Ninja Scroll?
Yes.
Okay, the rock demon.
Oh god.
His two-bladed sword.
Rock demon.
His two-bladed sword, but I would set it up with paper mache and like a drone.
Yeah.
And I would throw it, watch it spin, and then have it come back to me.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that would be against the rules, but I like
not if you're doing it just to hey, check this out.
Well, it'd be cool for a novelty, but
yes.
You couldn't actually use it.
No, because it'd be paper mache. That's the only way it would fly on the drone. It'd be paper mache.
It is so funny when people join the game because oftentimes they're inspired by like a video game or an anime or something, and they have something super specific in mind. The number one thing that they
it's not going to work.
the number one thing they ask is they're always like, "Can I make a scythe?" And I always tell them, yes, you can in fact make a strike legal scythe.
Can you trip with it?
No.
Then why?
Yeah, because that's kind of what I tell them. It was just like, well,
why can't you trip with it? By the way,
because it's dangerous. Like we're not there to injure each other, essentially.
Okay.
But like when people ask like, can I make a weapon like this or like a scythe or like something that makes it so that they can punch people. And I'm always like, no, you can't. Like, but the scythe one especially, I always say you can make that, but don't.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
It's not going to be like.
It's going to be worse than a spear.
Yeah, because one person like took it as a challenge and actually did make a strike legal scythe, and it was fucking enormous because it was modeled after like a Soul Calibur character, I think, and it worked, but it was so top heavy that it was completely unwieldy. And also because of the way it like curves, you couldn't really like.
But as long as they're having fun, I guess.
Yeah, like they never actually used it. It was kind of a novelty joke type thing.
Let's see. What would I use?
What would you use?
If we're doing buffers and they're light enough to do, I would do dual bastard swords.
Well, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Probably not. I'd probably get a big fucking tower shield. And a bastard sword. Yeah.
But like, just so I'm not completely making fun of noobs with stupid ideas. When I first started, I was heavily into Naruto, and I thought I was a ninja. I can't do Naruto. Yeah, I mean, I tried to watch that show. I've kind of cooled on it since then, but like, I tried to make nunchucks. That didn't work so good. Bummer. Yeah. Nunchuck, I think, could definitely work, but it would have to be long. Yeah. Very long. And by the way, maybe a 3-piece. Yeah, I don't think that would be allowed because like I had to follow, like, we have specific rules for how long a flail weapon can be because we have flails, but they're supposed to be like a ball and chain type thing. Yeah. and they can only be so long. And the reasoning for that was because they used
Wrap
to not,
around someone.
Yeah, they used to not have regulations for how long like a flail could be, and back like this was before my time, but apparently back in the day, people realized, hey, I can make a long sword with a flail on the end of it, and like you do like a high strike, and that flail would just whip around and hit you in the back.
Yeah,
and like every single person on the field would have these things apparently, and they were just whipping each other, and it got so stupid that like the rules moderators finally had to say, okay, flails can only be so long. I can't remember the exact measurements.
I'm thinking in real life, if I had a sword with a flail on it, like a flail would be a fucking vicious weapon. It's a great weapon.
It is a vicious weapon.
But if I had it on the end of a sword and I'm doing a high strike, and then it kind of whipped around and hit my back, not piercing my armor.
Yeah, like
it doesn't have the force.
Yeah, we have armor rules and stuff, but like it's still 1 point off of your armor because that's how the game works.
I know, that's what I'm saying is in physicals it wouldn't physically it wouldn't really do that.
Yeah. For those
now, if you
listening, I've got a bruise on my arm that I'm showing David right now. That's from a flail.
Yeah. No, if you have a legit flail, you get much better leverage on it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, instead of a block and then follow through whip, if you're hitting directly, it's going to hit so much harder.
Yeah.
And that was my point, is at the end of his sword, it's not good.
Yeah, there was a guy, like, he almost exclusively uses a flail, and one day during, like, a really rainy day, his flail got wet. And, like, they're just padded. They're just padded and covered in cloth, but, like, now it's
weighted.
Soaked.
Now it's weighted.
And that thing, it stung so bad when he would swing with it that everybody had to tell him, it was like, you need to stop using that, because like it like I can handle a bit of pain, I can handle a bruising strike, but this thing was worse than a paintball gun, like especially the way it was swinging it.
Yeah, and it's just a dull thud. It's not a punk. It's a thump. Yeah
Horrible.
Maybe I can go as hedonism bot.
You're just gonna...
I'm a magical item.
Just lounge and...
I regret nothing.
It's like, all I remember is that there were bodies everywhere, and then the explosion happened.
I'm a magical construct hedonism bot.
That
I regret nothing.
Yeah. I mean, you could totally do that if you're playing something like a druid, because druids... Like there's a build, I like to call it the armchair druid or the lazy druid.
I would be playing Cursed Caligula.
Cursed Caligula.
Yeah. I just got way too... Somebody put a curse on me, turned me into a couch.
Oh, okay. Like, kind of Beauty and the Beast there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but there's there's druids in the game, and their whole thing is that they put enchantments on other players to make them more badass.
Enchantment.
Yes, like they'll give you an enchantment that, oh, now you can take 2 more hits, or, oh, your sword instantly kills people now, and things like that.
Fucking stupid rule.
It's an amazing rule when that guy is on your side and he really likes you, so he gives you all of his enchantments while he sits back and does nothing because he's lazy.
If I'm playing D&D, Vorpal doesn't exist, by the way. Same reason.
Okay. I get you.
Yeah. Well, druids are really good at enchanting people.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I played druid in D&D, that's kind of what I did. I could get in there and do some shit. Or I can just fucking buff the party. Yeah.
The last D&D game I was in, this was 5th edition. 5th edition does have a little bit of a problem with magic users have cantrips that are really
OP.
Overpowered. Yeah, like, and our druid, like, every single fight we got in, excuse me, she would use this cantrip that just summoned thorns everywhere. And if you're in it and you move, it hurts you. So like every single fight, he's like, orcs are attacking us. So she'd summon these thorns, and
they never made a save to get around them.
Yeah, they if they were caught in it, their only choice was to like try and move out of it,
or
go through it.
Yeah.
Like, you could like summon it right on top of them, and you're just like they're just done at that point.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I kind
I
of
would assume they get a save to not get trapped in them, like web.
not really. No, they're just like
garbage.
It just comes out of the ground, and
Well, now I
they're
know
just-
what I'm playing when I play 5th edition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Straight
mean
up.
it's like a lot of the cantrips just they seem really overpowered for the fact that they're just at will spells. You know, I've never played the old editions, but I've read the rules on them, and I've also read the Dragonlance series, and you know
It's a good series.
yeah they perfectly explain why if wizards have such great power, how come they haven't conquered the entire world? And
Yeah.
they had that whole thing about how well they memorize their spells, and then when they use it, they have to rememorize it, and that's why you could only use your spells like once a day.
Right. Or you can memorize the same one 3 times. But yeah. For a certain amount that you can do per day.
Yeah, but now magic users, like, they can just do it willy-nilly, and it's
I think cantrips, were they like that before? Or did you just get a larger number of them?
I don't remember,
I don't remember either.
but like
I don't think they were at will.
I'm not much of a magic caster, dude. I solve my problems by hitting it with a sword.
What if your problem is, I want a house?
I'm sure there's something for that. If you,
Go to somebody else's house,
I mean-
else's house, hit them with the sword?
yeah,
Well, that's evil. That's not
yeah,
nice.
you can just steal somebody's house. Why not?
Because you're not a bad guy.
You are a murder hobo, though.
Is that all adventurers?
Yeah,
Murder hobos?
yeah, they're murder hobos because like think of a D&D party. They don't. Where the fuck do they live? They don't live
Taverns.
anywhere. They just move from place to place. And
But they have money. They're
kill
not
things.
hobos. They're travelers.
Yeah, they
the
kill
difference is they
things
got to.
along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
And and they have money because they take it from the things they kill, or like they get paid by the guy who's like, go there and kill this thing for me.
You're right. You're right. They're murder hobos.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the in 3rd edition or 3.5. There's a monk path that's called because they had a bunch of different paths in one of the books, and it was the path of what do you call it when you don't
There's
fight things?
The open hand.
No. It's a
3.5. Okay.
3.5. Yeah, the path of pacifism,
Okay.
which means if you never hit anything, you get all these bonuses to other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess you're not a murder hobo. You're just helping out murder hobos.
I do appreciate when people, like, I personally have never done this, but I do appreciate when people make non-fighter characters, like, that are total pacifists.
Yeah.
And they have to come up with different ways to be useful.
I played this campaign one time where me and this other dude, we were both gnome sorcerers.
Nice.
And our deal was we made beer on the road, and we were traveling with the adventurers to sell it, and neither of us had any offensive spells. So we used the shit out of like grease, right? You know, all these. We helped out murder hobos, but we were not ourselves murder hobos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun because it was it wasn't like how badass can we be and go kill the thing. It was let's fucking how wacky can we be and still not die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's some of the funnest things I've done is, you know, go wacky, don't go min-max.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's close this one down.
Alrighty.
You got anything to plug? You already talked about Ant Guard.
Amped
Guard.
No, Ant Guard is that just sounds like a ant simulator game.
Yeah. Amped Guard.
Amped Guard.
American Motor Theater Guard.
Yeah.
With no U. It's American, so there's no U.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think that's how it works.
it's about as American as it gets. It was founded in Texas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else?
Thank you for having me on.
You going to start making buffers on YouTube and putting them up and showing people how to make them?
No, I suck at doing that.
No? Well, that's not the path, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good one.
All right, thank you.
See ya.